I got to see a lot of different fire management activities growing up, in the fire service, and watching how different managers manage, what the impacts were. And I used to really kind of be jealous of the federal wildland community because, when they had a fire in the forest, they could actually, kind of really strategize about how they were going to go at it. We had opportunity to do that on our state lands we were working on, only that land belonged to somebody else. And we were there as an agent of that owner to help them minimize the loss to fire to rangeland or other, crops or structures, those kinds of things. Didn't mean that we didn't strategize, and didn't mean that we didn't go at things in a manner not to hurt or kill anybody, because that was always the main function. But we always tried to minimize that loss. We're in the forest lands, where the Forest Service and BLM and Parks and Fish and Wildlife were responsible as land managers to manage the ecosystem as a whole. It really gave them opportunity to look at where can we take advantage of this fire as we progress through the years. The last few years as a NIMO IC, and getting to see fire across the West and talking to people about how can we utilize fire to help reintroduce fire as a natural ecosystem and use it as a tool along with the rest of the tools we had. And there really was a lot more strategizing. But it came back to human factors and human nature about how to provide for safety for our people when they're doing that. How do we provide for safety of the community? How do we involve the community? So we really have gone through quite a maturing process in the number of years I've been around from, and I'm sure there was a lot of that going on when I was, pushing crews, or, the drag McLeod on the hotshot crew the first year, or a Sawyer, and we were just out digging line because that's where somebody told us we needed to put line on that ridge. So that's what we were doing. I'm sure there was some of that in the background that we didn't know about. And that's one of the things that I think is also matured a lot, is how we share information with our younger firefighters coming on, how we get them educated in the role of fire and what role they play in the grand scheme of thing, in the big puzzle that we call wildland fire management. Each and every one of the people assigned have a piece to that puzzle, and they all play a piece. And we expect everybody to play their piece when it's time and not hide their piece in their pocket, so they can have the last piece of the puzzle. But how do we merge all that together and get with the public, to get with the fire community,